Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is my second video and today I'm going to talk about a poem called Desiderata, composed by Max Ehrmann. This is a long poem and that is why the video is going to be more elongated. So please stay with me and I request you to have some patience. So without spending much time, let me go straight to the poem. Obviously I do have the poem over here. Max Ehrmann, the poet, is an American poet, or rather he was an American poet. He was born in 1872 and he died in 1945. Now the word desiderata, this particular term desiderata, means desired things. That means in this particular poem, the poet is trying to suggest us some things, some ways of life which we must follow in our life in order to have a successful and happy life. So I'm starting the poem right now. First stanza. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. Very beautiful lines. Now in English there is a very beautiful proverb. It's not proverb actually, there's a beautiful saying that silence is more eloquent than eloquence. It means whenever we try to say something, whenever we try to establish our point, we become so vituperative, we believe so much in noise that we have forgotten that there is enormous tranquility in silence. And the poet is actually saying this: go placidly amid the noise and haste. There are several noise. Life is full of busyness, life is full of din and bustle, life is full of clatter. But we have to remember that nothing is as beautiful, nothing is as peaceful as silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Yes, it is very important that since our society is a heterogeneous society, our society is full of people belonging to different caste, different religious beliefs, different religious creed, different kind of opinions. It is very important for us that we should be in harmony to each and every people. That is what the poet is saying over here. Be on good terms with all persons. We have to be in good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly and listen to others. Yes. No matter how much adjustment we have to make in order to be in good terms with other people, we have to remember that we should never step out from our truth. We should never overlook the truth. This is something which is very important, and the poet is actually suggesting us over here that we should not be afraid. We should not be afraid. We shouldn't fumble to speak our own truth, but that too quietly and clearly. It's not that we are supposed to be arrogant. It's not that we are supposed to shout in order to establish our truth, because the poet believes if there is truth, truth knows how to establish itself. If you are true, if you think that you are true, you are honest, you need not to be shouting. You need not to shout at others in order to prove your points, in order to prove your position. So you have to be quiet and you have to be clear. You shouldn't have any doubts. You shouldn't have any doubts about your conceptions. You shouldn't have any doubts about your truthfulness. So speak your truth, that he says, speak your truth quietly and clearly and listen to others. Now this is something which is extremely important. We are so busy in establishing ourselves that nowadays we are not ready to listen. Each and every one of us is so anxious. We are so anxious to speak that nobody is ready to listen. This is something which is extremely problematic. Think about Facebook, think about social media. Each and everyone is so busy to clear out himself or herself on the wall that it seems that nobody is ready to listen to others. But we have to remember that in order to be a good speaker, you have to be a good listener first. Then the poet says, listen to others, even to the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. This is something which shows that the poet is talking in terms of socialism. The poet says that each and everyone around us, each and everyone in our society must have something to say, because the way you have your own lifestyle, I do have my own lifestyle. The way you have your own stories, I do have my own stories. So if you do not concentrate, if you do not pay any attention to my stories, how can I express myself? So in order to have your actual freedom, in order to have liberty, you are supposed to speak out. And the way you think that you need to speak out, the way you think that you need to tell your stories, you're also supposed to believe that people around you are also having their own stories. They also express, they also supposed to express their own stories, and that is why you are supposed to lend your ears to them. Second stanza. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. This is something which is extremely important, and I personally follow this particular line, and personally follow this particular philosophy in my life. I have always tried to avoid loud and aggressive persons. That it is something that the poet himself is writing over here. Why? Because they are vexatious to the spirit. Yes. You know what the loud and aggressive people do to you? They simply contaminate, they simply molest your mental tranquility. They simply molest your mental peace. And that is why the poet is suggesting that we must avoid loud and aggressive persons. If you compare yourself with others, next two lines, if you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter. Yes, we often quarrel with ourselves. Yes, we often quarrel with our own ego. We often complain. We often lodge complaint. We often say that this was my dream, such and such was my ambition, but my ambitions got never fulfilled. The poet is saying that we should not compare ourselves to anybody else, but it doesn't mean that we should not have any ambition at all. It's not like that. Yes, obviously we should have some ambition. We must have our own ambitions, but having ambition is quite different from complaining. Having ambition is quite different from comparing yourself to someone else, because as I said earlier, each and every individual has his or her own story. Each and every individual forms particular or peculiar ways in order to sustain himself or herself. So that is why the poet says, you may become vain or bitter. So if you keep on comparing yourself with others, if you keep on measuring yourselves, your gains, your pains and sorrows, your losses with others, you will end up, unfortunately, you will end up in bitterness, and you will find that you are having no purpose of life. This is something which is extremely heinous. This is something which is extremely harmful to you. For always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Yeah, it's true. Nobody is supremely happy. Nobody can say that I am the happiest person, and nobody can say that I feel I am the biggest loser, because happiness and sadness are relative terms. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Yes, we need to achieve we need to enjoy our achievements. Might be that you had some plans, might be that we had some plans, but those plans didn't get successful. But for that, if our plans are not successful, we shouldn't curse ourselves. We must enjoy our achievements. We must feel that there are people who are living in worse conditions than us. So we should not feel that our lives are wasted. My life is wasted simply because my plans are not working well. So even if your plans are not working well, you need to keep trying, and you need to be happy that at least you've had something to cheer for. And trust me, there are several people around us who are not having that kind of opportunity which we are having. They are living in a life which probably we can never think of. Third stanza. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. yes, it's not possible that in a society each and everyone will have some luxurious, some kind of prosperous career. But no matter what kind of career you have, no matter which is or what is your profession, you should know how to respect your own profession. This is something which is extremely important. It's a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Yes, nobody has seen the future. You can never say what is going to happen with you after 5 or 10 years or so. So if you do not know how to respect, how to pay respect to your own profession, how to pay respect to your own career, nobody is going to give any respect to you. And trust me, this is something which is extremely important and which I have felt in my life. You are the only one who is going to respect yourself. So if you do not learn how to respect yourself, how to love yourself, nobody is going to pay respect to you and nobody is going to love you. And if you do not know how to love yourself, you cannot probably love anyone else. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. And this is something which we can see in our practical world, that this world is full of trickery. This world is full of persons having frivolous ambitions or intuitions. So you are supposed to be careful of the fraudsters. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Yes, the poet was very much conscious about this. The poet knew that the moment he is saying that you are supposed to be careful of the fraudsters, the poet knew that we might lose belief on humanity. The moment we lose our belief on humanity, this human society will perish. Because as a social being, you are supposed to believe on someone. You are supposed to believe your parents. You are supposed to believe your life partner. You are supposed to believe your friends. That is what the poet is saying over here. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. So you are supposed to be careful, but not cynical. You are supposed to be careful of the fact that there are several fraudsters that are revolving around you, but this should not blind your soul. This should never allow you to lose your trust over the humanity. Many persons strive for high ideals, that means ambitions, and everywhere life is full of heroism. So you will have several stories regarding heroism in our society. We need to imbibe them, we need to follow them. That is why we should strive, that is why we should make ourselves ready in order to be in this society. Fourth stanza, and this fourth stanza begins with a very important phrase that you have always heard of, and I believe that you have always said this: be yourself. Now there is something in this particular phrase. Be yourself means that you are supposed to be honest to yourself. You are not supposed to pretend. Do not pretend. Don't never pretend. But it doesn't mean that you are not going to change your characteristics if those characteristics are reaching any harm to others. It doesn't mean that. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection. So never pretend. Try always be honest to yourself. Don't pretend to be someone which you are not actually. Neither be cynical about love. Yes, we know that today's world is full of hatred. We find several hatred, be it religious hatred, be it ferocity of human beings towards nature. So there is no doubt that this world is full of hatred. There is no doubt that there are people who are having a lot of animosity. They cherish animosity, they give birth to animosity. We find enough of bloodshed, and history is evident that history is full of, replete with dead bodies. There are wars, we have evidenced nuclear attacks and all that. But we need to remember that we should never be cynical about love. We need to remember that we should never question the validity of love, because the moment you question the validity of love, the moment you try the moment you start or begin disrespecting love, you are actually problematizing your own existence. So neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. There's a very beautiful line that beauty is truth, truth beauty. According to the poet, love is something which is eternal. No matter how much hatred is there in our society, no matter how much animosity is there in our society, love is something which acts like a medicine. Love and hope, these two are the crucial things. These two are something which can give impetus to a person to carry on with his life in the society. Next stanza. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Now he talks about generation gap. The poet is saying that no matter how much the time changes, we should always take the counsel of the years, that is our elderly persons, it talks about people who are elders, who are our elders, who are aged persons. They remain in our family, they remain in our society, and we should try to take their counsel because they have got the experience which we probably haven't got. So basically here in these two lines, the poet is talking about kind of symbiosis. The way we need to take counsel from the elderly people. In the similar fashion, we are also supposed to help them. We are also supposed to be their support. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. Yes, you have to be strong. You have to keep your morale high whenever there is some misfortune in your life, because as you know, and this is a cliched term, this is a cliched proverb that we have all heard about, that is, life is not a bed of roses. Everyone keeps saying that life is not a bed of roses, and this is something which is extremely true, that life is all about ups and downs. Life is all about joys and sorrows. So no matter how much sorrow you have in your life, no matter how much ups and downs you are seeing, you should never lose your self-confidence. You should always have your morale intact. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Yes, that is what I said. The moment you lose your faith in love, the moment you lose your faith in hope, the moment you start disrespecting yourself, the moment you are not having your morals high, you actually get immersed in fatigue and loneliness. You will find that you are alone, and this will give a kind of existential crisis in you. It will actually bless you with some kind of existential crisis, and you will find that there is no meaning of life. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness beyond a wholesome discipline. Be gentle with yourself. This is something which this is probably the key sentence of this entire poem. That is, be gentle with yourself. That means you are supposed to be true to yourself, you are supposed to be honest to yourself, and you are supposed to know how to give respect to yourself. Next answer. You are a child of the universe. Yes, it's true. You are the child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. Yes. Now, if I talk about philosophy, according to philosophy, there are two terms: chaos and cosmos. Chaos is something full of darkness, and cosmos is a creation. And it is believed that from chaos there came cosmos. Or to put it in another way, it is chaos that gave birth to cosmos. According to the poet, you are a child. Each one of us, each and every individual is a child of the universe, because each and every individual is born, or each and every individual is given birth to by the universe. No less than the trees and the stars. So the way the stars are planned, the way the stars are created, you are also created by the whims of the supernatural powers, by the whims of this universe, by the whims of God himself. You have a right to be here, yes. Since, and this is something which talks about the existence of God. If you accept God as your creator, you are supposed to believe that since God has sent you in this world, you must have some purpose, and God also must have some purpose behind sending you. If you are not believer of God, if you are a non-believer of God, if you believe in this nature, then also you are supposed to accept the fact that since nature has created you, nature must have some kind of purpose for sending you into her, for sending you in this nature, and that is why you have some purpose. So you have a right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. So it says that it doesn't matter if you understand or not, have some patience, because life is all about mystery. Life is full of mystery, and the way you cross your springs, the way you cross your edges, you find that life is unfolding its mysteries. The way we unfold an onion, life also unfolds itself in front of you, and the more life unfolds itself in front of you, the more you feel that is extremely, extraordinarily beautiful. Next stanza. And in this stanza, the poet is clearly talking about God. He is clearly addressing God. And it shows that he is a very much believer in God, the existence of God. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. Now this line, whatever you conceive him to be, it means do not categorize God into different religions. So what is important over here, it is no matter from which religion you belong to, all you need to have is the spirituality. All you need to have is the readiness to believe in the existence of God. And this readiness is going to give you some kind of support. This readiness is going to give you a feeling that you are at peace with God. And as long as you are at peace with God, according to the poet, you are in the mainstream of your life. You are not devoid of the Almighty's blessings. And whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. So you are supposed to keep peace in your soul. And I think I have talked about it, and I think I have explained this earlier, that you are supposed to respect yourself. You are supposed to believe in yourself. You are supposed to have the belief that you know what you are doing. Last and final stanza. With all its sham, drudgery and broken